the rescuing of values and the family unit of children, young adults, and the elderly who are in need. That is the motto from the Instituto Barrichello, and this is certainly going to be one race which is going to pay back for everything that it has done, and it's going to be what the sim racers have all collectively looked to try and join in and collect to do. This is going to be one fantastic race, or two races actually, because the first will be 25 minutes, the second will be 40 minutes. We got the Formula Renault 2.0s out, we're here at Interlagos. This is your Rubens Barrichello challenge. This is your chance to race with an immortal legend, a driver of Ferrari, of Brawn, of Williams, of Honda, you name it, he's been there. Qualifying is underway. We'll be back in a couple of minutes after these short messages. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, then, to what is this Interlagos circuit, this Autodromo José Carlos Pache here, 2.68 miles, 15 turns, and what will be the first of two races tonight. 25 minutes this opening one. Here we're in the middle of qualifying right now, which has got itself 3.5 minutes to go. Welcome everybody to iRacing Live, to RaceBot TV. Jake Sperry, joined alongside by Randy Chenoweth and also Miss Rachel Whiteford. Now Rachel, this is a massive opportunity for everyone involved. Of course, it's their chance to pay back to what has been a fantastic initiative with the Instituto Barrichello, and everyone wants to have a chance of being quicker than the 111 machine today.
Yes, good evening, Jake. They certainly do. It's a great event we've got here tonight, and what a spectacular track to hold this at. It's Interlagos, world-renowned, and of course, very famous here in Brazil itself. Incredible field of drivers tonight. We've got about 45 drivers running, Jake. It's going to be an incredible event, charity, and of course you can go to the Instituto Barrichello website and you can find out more information about their very good causes. It's a very simple address. It's the ibk.org.br. So ibk.org.br. You can find out all you need to know about what a wonderful institute that is.
Yes, most certainly, and well, qualifying at the moment underway. Let's go and look for a good driver then. Let's look at what is going to be a very, very quick driver in what is going to be the number 178 machine. Let's look at Carlos Newmar right now. Heads himself, well, actually he's going to turn himself around there, down at what is Junshao, the junction corner. And so now we will head ourselves further on. Beta Montero then will look to drive for the line. Let's see if he can go any quicker on his final lap. 1:32.8 this time by. Does not go quicker there, Rachel. He remains P number 7.
Yes, he does. Not an improvement there. Rubens Barrichello himself actually up in P5 at the moment. It's 2.436. And that's 4 tenths of a second off your current pole. That's Bruno Di Carmo in the TNT racing machine there. He is in pole position at the moment. Great lap by him. Syandra, he's Blackadder Motorsports. He's not out on track at the moment. P9 there. Keep an eye on what he can do. Some great times coming in at the moment. Some drivers out on track. Brian Sobb starting a lap. He's in the 52 car. Currently don't know he's ending a lap there. Sorry, actually P20.
Yeah, most certainly. And now you can see just how everyone's starting to get a little bit twitchy here as the clock's starting to tick down. Just under a minute to go then before we get ourselves our first full qualifying grid of the evening. Bruno Turati right now, he finds himself in a position down in 31st right now in the number 13 machine, heads himself now into the Pinheirino, the Duck's Beak, actually Bica de Pato, the Duck's Beak, heads himself now into the left-hander, flat out as now you head to Junshao, making sure you've got to get in on that brakes nice and tight. Make sure you run as much as you can on the outside. A little bit slow there coming out. I think it's a slow lap from Bruno Turati, and it really is showing here, Rachel, because a 1:35.2, that's at least 3 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, not going to be good enough tonight for this one, Jake. Just not quite there, but this is a big grid, so might not have it on full pace, but you can certainly get a great result simply by being there at the end. This track can be unforgiving, especially in these Formula Renault cars.
Yeah, most certainly here as the clock starts ticking down. 20 seconds. Brian Goddard right now heads himself through what is the left-hander and now heads himself down towards Junshao here. He's down in the field right now. He's there in 27th. And of course, once that time runs out, we are going to see no more lap times. Bruno H. Santos then drives the line. Will he go any quicker? 33.6. He does. He goes up to P23. Qualifying is now over. We can now run you through a classified grid then. Here showing off at Interlagos, your first race of the night. Bruno De Carmo then, he will put his car up on pole position right now, 1:32.040, that's the fastest lap of the field. He's joined alongside him by Renan Azeredo right now, a 1:32.159. Nato Nascimento then puts himself on row 2, joined alongside by Jose Telmo. There is Rubens Barrichello, the legendary former Formula 1 driver. He's there on row 3. He's joined by Bruno Rossetto with Beto Montero and Vitor Gens there alongside. Cycling on back through the grid there, you can see Syandra there in 9th. Looking further down, you look at Marcio Arizon there. I'll try not to butcher the names there down in 12th. The likes of Marcel Fancini will look to do well. Fabio Alchi there, he's surprisingly down the order there in 22nd. And well, it's going to be a massive grid. It's going to be a massive opportunity for everyone that is going to be involved. And first and most important thing here, Rachel, is you've got to be consistent on the line. You've got to make sure you're in the race for the entire 25 minutes.
Yeah, you certainly do. It's going to be quite a active race for this first one. The second race will be even longer, of course, but this first one, you got to finish first. You got to first finish. Well, the Center S's, that first sequence of corners we have here, Curva de Sol, and running down the Rio Aposta, that's where we're going to see most of the action that first lap. Got to make sure you get through that alive, then stand to your speed.
Yeah, most certainly. Welcome, Randy. Welcome to the commentary box there. Very quickly, you got yourself about 10 seconds here to say, how are you feeling about this one? Are you excited? Seemingly not here at the moment, but we will get himself...
so excited, Jake, he could barely contain himself with that. He was speechless, Jake, at that moment in time, so...
yeah, most certainly.
Yeah, I'll speak for Randy.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Randy... Oh, is he... Oh, okay, I was going to impersonate Randy, but he's actually
Fair
here now.
play, but you have to remember, the engines are now starting to rev here. The 2 minutes are up. The green flag. We're underway for 25 minutes here in your Rubens Barrichello Challenge. Run down in towards turn number 1 is certainly going to be one that's very, very interesting here. You can see already weaving as they head themselves down into the center S for the very first time. Barrichello trying to run the outside line. He gets the move sorted. He goes up into 4th position already. And you can see Carlos there struggling. There is contact there in the middle of your field. That's Beto Montero there. Gets another clap. And oh, there's contact left, right and center there. It's all gone wrong. Collected Anderson Candemill there, right there. And Randy, very, very poor start then from already the midfield.
Yeah, big incident there in your mid-pack with someone who had a good start there with Rubens Barrichello picking up that early position in turn number 1. But like you said, some early incidents. That sees 2-3 cars already out of this one, Jake.
Yeah, most certainly. Battle for your race lead then. Renan Azeredo then heads himself into the race lead as he got himself through on the run into what is that lovely double apex right-hander now. Down into the Pinarino. They come along for the first time. Azeredo, De Carmo, Nascimento, Barrichello there sitting pretty in 4th, just waiting for the opportunity to arise. And there you can see Telmo, Gens, Andra, Rachel. You have to say, for the front runners, it's been a relatively clean start.
Certainly has. The front runners actually on a very initial start there off the grid, Jake. They had a really clean run up through there. Great positioning. Everyone got through the first couple of corners right. Barrichello there holding it around the outside, of course, in the center S's. It's very possible if everyone gives each other respect. The front runners were doing just that. And we saw what it can do. But expect Bruno De Carmo, who's in 2nd place here, he'll definitely be looking like he'll try and pass Brian Anzerdo back on this straight. It's a really, really long run back to turn 1. Getting that final exit from the last corner there on the infield section, that is Juncao, of course, so vital.
Oh, there's contact between the two, but they keep them both together there. Decano has to yield, and he's now going to run himself back into position here with Nascimento looking for an opportunity. Barrichello waiting in the slipstream here. Side by side they go. Could go 3 wide, will go 3 wide as they head themselves down to the next series. Left-hander Barrichello to the inside. Racer's instinct up into third, but behind Vitor Gens here in a fantastic little scrap going on right now with the cars of Jose Telmo and Cyandra. Side by side, Barrichello up on his roof, side over the top, contact as well, and behind there's more dramas here as they head themselves into the right there, which is coming up. Replay on screen. Randy, what on earth happened?
That just looked like that Rubens and the car of Bruno Carmo there. Looks like they just sort of both moved over just a little bit. I wouldn't say it was advantageous or even blocking on either respect. I think they just kind of moved into each other going up into turn 5 and 6.
Well, it's certainly not what Barrichello wanted. He's right down the order now and slow to go.
Damage. He's got damage.
Yeah, definitely damage there, Rachel. You do have to agree. Mauricio Arizon then has got himself away through on Bruno Rossetto, then down as they head themselves now to Jun Shao on circuit here. It's completely shaken up the order. Of course, Cyandra was also involved in the incident. So what this does mean is that Renan Azeredo right now has a massive lead over Nato Nascimento here. And it's Cyandra in the number 1 here who has benefited the most out of all of that, Rachel. He's up into 3rd.
Yeah, he certainly is up in 3rd position there. That's exactly what the Blackadder Motorsports driver needed in this race. He's got a lot of track position there. Clean run and, well, barely anyone around him now after that crash we saw in your top group. We did see another one as well in the back of your lead group too, but it's at least 3 seconds back to Victor Gens, who's in 4th spot. That's Bibu Girolami in P5, running a good race, but he's going to have a lot of work cut out to catch up towards the front group. Definitely, we thought Renan Arenado would be passed on the straight out of Yungao, but well, he's certainly managed to just go flying away with this one. And his 2 biggest threats really out of this race, Jake.
Most certainly here, side-by-side battle going on. Bruno Rossetto in the 24, Marcio Arizon in the number 41. Doesn't happen for the time being as they head themselves now down to this next right-hander. There is a little look, but there is a lock-up of the brakes, and he doesn't quite get the move sorted here. But you do have to look just a little bit behind, side-by-side. Carlos Newmar here, looking here to go defensive on what is Brian Sob. Dobb can't get the move sorted. He has to go and wait behind the time being. That is up in your top 15 for the moment. So quite a few things going on. You'll see a look at your movers and shakers, and the biggest mover and shaker right now is the number 63 machine, Randy. It's Bebu Girolami right now. He's gone from 16th to 5th. He's up 11 positions already.
He's had an absolutely cracking start. In fact, 5th, 6th, and 7th, all people who started up outside of the top 10. So for them to race their way up this far has been absolutely fantastic. Someone else had a fantastic start. Flavio Dantas from 17th up to 9th. Really a lot of movers in the early stages of this race, Jake.
Yeah, most certainly here. See side by side Flavio Dantas and Thiago Izquiel. Danny inside goes Izquiel into the center S, and he makes sure that he gets it sorted. And now looks to pick up that toe through the Curva de Sol, and the runs down towards turns number 4 and 5. Izquiel does a fantastic job of that move. Now looking at Rossetto and Arizon, that gap's just starting to open up just a little bit. 3/10 when they cross the line. So it's pretty much sorted once you get it through turn number 1, 2, and 3 here, Rachel. You get that move sorted, it's nice, it's clean, but you always have that look into 4 and 5, so you have to be very careful about where you place your car.
Yeah, certainly. Through the center S's in the Curva de Sol, you really want to get the best run you possibly can. So if you're going to make a pass there, try and get it done in the end of the center S's, get through Curva de Sol, get maximum speed down the Rio Aposta. Big speed there down towards 4 and 5. You want to make sure you've got a good head of speed. If you don't, well, there's a chance, like you said, they can pass you back. But if you can hold it through 3 and 4, then you are in a good position to actually hold that through the latter part of the track. As we
Rachel, I'm going to have to stop you. I'm going to have to stop you. Renan Azeredo, your race leader, has made a mistake somewhere out on circuit. Let's get a replay up for you. And I believe it's down into the Bico de Pato. So let's just get a replay. Down into the Bico de Pato then. Into the right-hander. Gets sure he makes it sorted in. Oh, he just gets a massive oversteer moment on the exit. Too eager to put down the power there. And Rachel, you have to say, that's cost him 2 positions.
Yeah, it certainly, well, it certainly has. It's not what he wanted to have happen, of course. Scamento and Andra getting through very, very easily at that stage, Jake. But mistakes will cost you, mistakes will happen. It's about how you recover from them that matters a lot more.
Yeah, most certainly. This is a 25-minute race, of course, and we're only into the first 5 minutes, and already you can see exactly how everything's gone on. We're just down to 34 runners then on your lead lap for the time being. You can see just how everyone in the field is just starting to open up here. Small little battles going on up and down your field right now. So we're going to look at potentially something going on side by side. Jose Pino then making himself his way through, I believe. Oh, no, he actually is being passed there by Paulo Cesar Villas-Boas there in the number 38 machine. That's a battle down for 24th, and you know, there's quite a lot to fight for, especially for the low positions, Randy, here, because you know that there is always going to be an opportunity that's going to arise later on.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, especially, you know, this is just the first 25-minute heat race, and we have the longer main race after this, this kind of setting the grid for that. So right now, even if you're running down the order, you know, you're really not quite out of things yet. You just need to make sure you get yourself a good finish here. Make sure you get yourself to the checkered flag.
Yeah, most certainly. We've just seen a battle between Fabio Coelho and Anderson Candemil right now here as they head themselves down into the Pinheirinho right now. And you can see Candemil here just waiting on the outside there, just looking to try and find a way through, looking for an opportunity. Comes into the Pico de Pato, one of the slowest parts of the circuit here. And again, a lovely little look, but you can see just a better run out of it there from Fabio Coelho there, Rachel. And that's going to mean that he's safe into Junshan.
Yeah, certainly is. Young Cow is a tricky corner. Got to get the maximum speed out of that one there. Of course, Jake gives you the biggest run down that front straight where you can use that draft to pass cars. Well, a good exit can also mean you can stay ahead of a car.
Saying that, Fabio Coelho had a massive little slide effort there and just lost the back end there just as he was trying to apply the power here. Doesn't quite get it to work, so Anderson Candemil moves himself up one position at the moment. Battle going on then further up your field. Jose Telmo here down the order. He's back down in 16th position. He has for company there. That is Carlos Newmar right now as they head themselves down in towards turn number 4. They get close on the brakes, but nope, not quite close enough there. Car ahead running a little bit wide. Actually, a car even more going wide is Bruno Rossetto, who's had a little bit of an issue there, Randy. Not ideal as he rejoins the track and now into the fray.
He joins in a really awkward position, was very safe, but, you know, he's going to lose in position because of that. Might come under attack from Carlos Newmar now as well on the run down into turn number 8. And Carlos not able to get by and actually losing a bit of ground as well. Bruno Rossetto doing some good damage control after that mistake just a few corners ago.
Yeah, most certainly. Just look at the gap, though, here in the battle for second. Number 1, Sai Andra, and the number 45, Renan Azeredo right now. That gap was 1.3 seconds when they last crossed the line. I don't think that looks like 1.3 seconds now. Let's see the times as they cross the line. Azeredo last time by was a 32.6. Azeredo this time by another 32.6 there. And if you look at what Syandra did, that's a 32.9. So that's another 3/10. He gets within 1 second, Rachel. And that means that the slipstream effect comes into play. And that means Syandra's looking very worried in his mirrors.
Yeah, Sanders is under, I think, a bit of a struggle here, but he's, of course, we know that Sanders is faster. That means he's probably going to get past at some point, but Andrea qualified P9, Jake. That's a huge jump he's made up to second place. So perhaps not too close near alright speed, but not a huge gap in race pace we've seen so far. In fact, he's a little faster. It'll be tricky to see what can develop from this, but Andrea certainly quicker in a car with a full tank of fuel.
Most certainly here. Let's look further back down the field then in your battle for 8th position right now. The number 20 of Fabio Aoki. He's there in a scrap with Gustavo Yanez then in the number 29. Head themselves now in towards the beautiful double apex right-hander. Now down on the brakes, another right-hander then. One of the slowest parts of the circuit there, just down to 49 mile an hour. Make sure you run the curb, of course, and then into the left-hander of the Pinheirinho. Make sure you just maximise that inside curve as you make the run. Yanez not quite close enough at the moment, Randy, but you have to remember, Aoki, he's up from 22nd on the grid. That's 14 positions. That's absolutely fantastic by his respect.
Aoki's running very, very good. Like you said, going down through that section, such as the Pinheirino, and, you know, really that entire complex, you know, all the way up to Youngsao, it really is kind of single file. It's not until you get on this main straightaway and get on this run down into turn number 1 in the Senna S's and the run to Curva del Sol, that's where you really get some multiple grooves and some multiple lines that you can really open up and really race with.
Most certainly you can see just how the top speed is being affected here. Aoki running 142 miles an hour, 145 for Gustavo Yanez, who looks to make a little move, goes to the outside now, trying to get that cut back in so he can use as much acceleration as he can to open up that run through the Curva del Sol right now. You can see a lot closer gap, around 3/10 then, as they head themselves now onto the back straight. Of course, we do have live timing and scoring, Racesport TV /timing. And of course, you can always get social with us on Facebook and on Twitter as well. Racesport TV for both of those. Down on the brakes they go. Not quite close enough this time by Gustavo Yanez there, Rachel. seemingly lost Rachel there for a moment. We do apologise, but
we haven't now.
Ah, there we go, Rachel. So you can see this battle going on between Aoki and Yanez right now. You can see just how they're pushing each other, just, you know, testing their limits. They've got a 5-second gap ahead, and, well, 5-second gap behind, 4-second gap ahead. So really, it's just a battle between the two of them.
Yeah, it certainly is, but they've got to focus on that, of course. They've got to make sure they don't push too hard too soon, because... Oh, sorry, they don't hold each other up too much is what I mean to say. If they hold each other up, they're in a major problem, because people from behind can catch them and they'll drop back from the leaders.
Yeah, most certainly here, as we've got a battle for P2 going on. The traffic now starting to play effect. Dennis Howard getting out of the way here. Azaredo has caught Syandra. Andra going defensive then, and you can see moves to the outside there. Goes the car of Renan Azaredo and the number 45 down the inside. Back marker plays a little bit of a role there, and that is the back marker of Nuzmita Almeida there. As they head themselves now into turn 3, the Curva de Sol, and now this run towards turns 4 and 5, the double left-handers. Syandra has an opportunity to breathe, but it's a small opportunity to breathe. A fantastic effort there from Renan Azaredo, who does a 1:32.5 last time by his fastest lap of the motor race, and he's showing here, Randy, exactly what he means.
Yeah, he really is, and Renan's, looking very, very quick right now, and Salandra, he needs to have this entire lap where it's relatively single file, absolutely perfect. If he shakes up at all, that's just going to let Renan get closer and closer for that run down that long front straightaway, and if he, hiccups just a little bit, Renan's going to be there. It actually goes a little bit wide through the Pinorino, gets a good run off, though, and Renan there being very patient right now, not being overly aggressive. You've seen closing on the brakes into turn number 10, but overly not trying to really look for any passes in this section of the track. So he knows turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, that's really his best opportunity to get by Sal.
Most certainly, we've just hit ourselves the halfway stage in this opening race right now, and the battle for second heating up. Gap to the leader was 2.4 seconds, but now you look at this slipstream
Brennan's
effect.
got to run.
Yes, he does. He's got a massive run here as he looks straight to the inside. Syandra's not going to defend this one. He knows when he's beat, and he's going to try and run it close here as they head themselves now in towards the start-finish straight right now. Of course, it's hilly. It's always going to be going up and down. You're never fully flat out. Here as they head themselves on that brakes into the center S. Andra trying to run the outside line inside for turn number 2 and runs out of road, runs out of speed. And in the end, Rachel, that run is not just quite enough.
Certainly not enough at all there. It's Cyander's there in that Black Adam Motorsports machine behind the Renault machine there of Azrendo. Just couldn't quite find the room to make that complete. He's trying, he's looking everywhere. Just not enough to fight back against the number 2 qualifying car there of Renan Azrendo. Trying to find whatever he can, just inching this out. 10 laps in, about 15 minutes at the moment, Jake. So about 10 minutes to go. This could still play out. These two are very similar in pace.
Most certainly here, but we do have a battle for the final spot inside your top 10. Jefferson Ramos and also Marcel Fascini right now. They're going to find themselves here as they head themselves now into this next double apex right-hander. You can see on the brakes just ever so slightly, trying to run as much speed as you can, and a fantastic run through the second part of the corner gets to Jefferson Ramos there. And you can see, Randy, just how crucial that corner is. I believe it's Ferradura. Ferradura is so crucial there because once you get that run, you just get that breathing space. You can see just cannot be touched through the next few sections of the infield.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, and that's a very difficult corner to really get right as well. It's, basically if you turn in a little bit later, a little bit too early, you'll be off groove, and that car behind might be able to make an attack. But Jefferson Ramos now, they come ahead up into Young Sal. He has the space. He needs to get himself a good run out of here. There's 2 cars behind, and he does do just that. He does to get himself a good jump. Marcel Ficini behind actually didn't get the greatest run through there in the world, and Flavio Dantas behind, now looking to get by Marcel. They head down into turn number 1. They're already side by side here, Jake. That's already job done.
Yes, it is already job done. Then Flavio Dantas moves up into P number 11 on circuit, does everything he needs to do in his right to make sure that his race goes from good to better. And actually, an incident that's just happened is Gustavo Yanez has just completely dropped off the face of the earth there. He's now behind Fabio Aoki there in what is 9th position right now. They just had a little bit of a tap off back at, I believe, a certain part of the track. There's been an incident from the number 11. That is Flavio Dantas, and that's down at the Curva de Sol. Replay up on screen, and oh dear, that looks an absolute huge one then. Looks it in, and oh, that actually happens there just ahead there, Rachel, with De Jefferson Ramos there, just tagging the back marker of Dennis Hauer. Hauer turns into a spin, nowhere to go, and up and over they both go, and out.
Yeah, that was a bit of a spectacular one, Jake. More than perhaps I expected to see on a racetrack, but it's a tricky place on the racetrack for that to happen, really. The car was already off the racetrack, so in fact he was pretty heavily damaged anyway. I don't think he should have been running on the track. Of course, Hauer had no front wing running into the center S's, so
yeah, it's going to be one of those things. It really is. But we do have a battle for P4. It's Bebu Girolami right now, who has got himself in a fantastic position here, looking to scrap with Vitor Gens right now in a number 46. And of course, Girolami from 16th could get himself up to P number 4. You look at Vitor Gens right now from 8th to 4th, up 4 positions. So these guys really showing what they're made of here. They're 7 seconds off the leaders. They do have that gap, which allows them to just have this lovely little scrap, this lovely fight towards the end of this race. And you can see exactly into the Skida de Lago there of turn number 4 and 5. You can see exactly how they're pushing, just testing the waters right now as they head to Ferradura, Randy. Not really making the moves here early on. They know where the big move happens.
Yeah, Bebu, he wanted to make a move down into turn number 1 that last time, but unfortunately it was somewhat blocked by a lap marker they had to get by and just couldn't do it. Now they come through really this sort of infield style section here at Interlagos. He's just making sure he's clean, he's making sure he gets good runs, and he's making sure he maintains this gap all the way up to Young Sao, where he knows he needs to get a good run. And like you said, turn 1 is where we've seen all of our passes happen. We haven't seen anyone stick a move down into turn number 4 yet a single time. Actually, he's going to try to make it happen in Young Sao, and that's going to be absolutely horrible for him down here. He's going to have a terrible run out of this corner, and for Bebu Girolami, Victor Gens all the way down this run down into turn number 1 is going to be quicker just the entire distance of the straightaway.
Most certainly there. He just seemed to bite a little bit too early there on his line and just couldn't quite get it right, could Girolami. That's going to cost him, and let's see how much it's going to cost him there from absolutely nothing. Gap is 7/10, and he's got to do all that work all over again. Battle for P2 though still going on. Barrichello's just been lapped. There, Sai Andra, Renan Azaredo. Azaredo hasn't been able to get away. They've had to deal with the traffic, and they've lost 2 seconds onto the leader Nascimento right now as they head themselves into the Skida de Lago. Turn number 5 on circuit, 4 and 5 even. And well, no, not quite close enough, but you can see Andra looking for the run. Goes to the outside here for Ferradura, turn 6. This is going to be bold. It's going to be brave. But bold and brave means he's still there, still looking. Can he get the move sorted? No, he's going to have to wait behind for the time being, Rachel.
Yeah, patience will pay dividends in a race like this, so he's doing the right thing, but not a lot of time remaining.
Certainly not a lot of time at all here for Syandra here. We've got to look at the clock as they come along. It will be around 5 minutes then when they cross the line, which means that we've got ourselves approximately around 3 laps left of this motor race when they cross the line. So it's certainly going to be interesting to see whether Andrew can get it through. Of course, there was a stage where Azaredo here, Randy, was starting to break away. Couldn't quite do it, but now just looking for that opportunity here is Andra. This is the fight for the podium.
Yeah, Andrew's been getting through the traffic a little bit cleaner than Azaredo has been able to do, and really that's why this gap is so close. And actually, that's a good chunk of why Renan hasn't been able to close that gap to the leader at all. He's just not navigating the traffic. And speaking of their leader, Nito Nascimento, again, he's done it 2 laps in a row. Just put the best lap in the race in, and Nito's just out front, and he's just checking out right now.
Most certainly he is. A 1:32.436. That's his fastest lap of the race. That's the fastest lap of the race then from what is your race leader in the number 75 machine behind. Azaredo and Andra, then too, are still going to go in. Crash for the number 46. That's Vitor Gens. Replay up on screen. That has not worked out for the car, who was 4th place at one stage, and it's happened at turn number 2 in a scrap with Bebu Girolami then. Down to turn 2, 2 into 1, doesn't go, round he goes, 1 tap, 2 tap, red tap, blue tap, Rachel.
That's quite poetic of you, Jake, but
did you just quote Dr.
certainly,
Seuss?
I think he did actually quote Dr. Seuss, but speaking of returns from very, very distant places, Bruno Di Carmo in the number 40 machine was qualified on pole, of course, involved in that incident with Rubens Barrichello. He's back up to 13th, so big recovery there for Bruno. He's pushing forwards, and some drivers are moving up as well. But Brian Goddard from 27th to 14th, he's actually just coming off pit road, so he may have dropped back in this one. As well as that, we also have Fabio Aoki. He's in P22, well, from P22 on the grid in 8th place, so a great run by him as well, Jake.
Most certainly, but he has just been overtaken by Gustavo Yanez so far this lap, so he'll actually drop himself down to 9th for the time being. Aoki doing a fantastic job in that car. He's really pushing that Formula Renault to its limits, really showing exactly what he can do there. Times they cross the line, 21 minutes and 47 seconds then for the race leader. That means there is going to be about 3 minutes 13, and that is about 3 laps of this race to go. So battle for second still going on, and it just seems for the moment, Randy, that Renan Azeredo just can't get the move sorted.
Yeah, Renan, you know, he just can't break away from Sal, unfortunately, and Sai is just very, very quick in this Blackadder Motorsport Formula Renault 2.0, and he wants to break away bad, but the traffic keeps catching him in bad places and just keeps closing up the gap little by little, and that just keeps letting, Sai just hold on to the back, and he's good enough to do this, this whole kind of infield section to maintain the gap, and he can always be threatening Renan down into turn number 1.
Yeah, most certainly you can see Syandra here. He's really looking for an opportunity. Let's go on board and see exactly where his runs are going, where he's losing time, where he's gaining. You can see down to the right-hander of the Bico de Pato there, taking a much tighter line than Renan Azeredo there, who was looking to try and get everything right, and actually takes a wide line there through the next left-hander. You can see hard onto that right-hand side AstroTurf there. That is legal, that is allowed. You can see this run here up the top, up here towards the lovely left-hander. You can see exactly just how the slipstream is going to play effect. It's not going to be enough there. You can see just a small amount going in with Elvis Rilke de Sanzagra. Nailed it as he head themselves down towards the front straightaway again. It's going to be ourselves 2 laps to go this time by, and you can see right now Azeredo is just holding station right now here, Rachel.
Certainly is, and it's just all he needs to do at the moment. He's recovered back, of course. He lost a couple of spots we saw from that incident for himself, but he is climbing back up. Second place, not the win he might have had, but I think right now he will take that position. Leandra in 3rd place has dropped back massively. He's running down the rear Aposta at the moment, and well, that doesn't make sense actually. No, sorry, he's right behind him. I was completely confused. Do excuse me. They're all running up towards the infield section of the race right now. Cemento, Azarendo, and Sandra, Andra even, not Sandra. All running very quick lap times within, well, 32.7 for the leader. We have 2nd place with a 32.6 and Andra 32.6. So this is rapid at the front of the pace, Jake.
Yeah, most certainly is very, very rapid right now. You can see exactly just how everyone's pushing. Battle between what is the 52 and the 47 machine. That is Brian Sob heading himself down in towards turn number 1. There's going to be side by side, and that is also Paulo Cesar Villas Boas. They're getting involved through in that respect, and he pushes himself up a position there. Also Anderson Candemil getting involved, and now you can see side by side behind that Sob and also Beto Montero. You can see the damage on the rear wing here, just how it has really, really not worked out at all in his favour. Then down on the brakes into the Esquina de Lago. You can see just how Sob's struggling, but we are on the final lap of the race, so we are going to have to go to your race leader, your number 75 machine. Sorry?
Fredo and Andrew are in.
Wow, maybe something's not worked. Maybe, just maybe, they have both ran themselves out of fuel in that didn't expect to run it the last lap, maybe trying to run it too clean, too consistent. So that means they had to pit. They are in trouble. That means they will drop positions, and that has been a massive undersight from all of them.
Got by.
Yeah, you can see Syandra then has got himself through in that situation. It has really, really worked out in that respect for Syandra here. It has not worked out for either of them, but he takes the best of the scraps. But you have to look at Nascimento right now, heading himself in towards this next right-hander. Turn number 7 on circuit. Now into the Pinarino, trying to navigate the lap traffic, trying to make sure that they get themselves in the right position. There you can see exactly what's going on there. Beto Quino right now just being taken there in that section. Into the right-hander they come along then of the Pico de Pato, and just the left-handers to go. And now Nascimento can see it coming. Nascimento can see everything that he wants to then into Junshao, and just the run down, well, up even, up this lovely left-hand cornered straight. And now you can see just how Nascimento meant it, just how he wanted it. He'll win it in style, he'll weave, he will say that he is the best driver at the moment. What a win for Nascimento, who does it in fantastic fashion. 2nd place, as we look further back, will surely be Bebu Girolami from 16th on the grid. Great credit to that. And Marcio Arizon will finish off in 3rd. But Randy, you do have to say there is a question here about this second race coming up and what exactly has gone on and why did Syandra and the likes of also, I believe, Renan Azaredo make it into pit lane.
Yeah, that's really weird. And actually, if you watch this Renan here, he ran slow all the way down this front straightaway, let 2 more cars get past so he can guarantee himself that 8th position. I believe we're going to have ourselves a P1 to P8 field inversion here. I have to admit, this looks a little kind of naughty on Renan's part. Looks like intentionally trying to get the pole position in race 2. Just very, very odd by Buzz, Renan, and Cy.
Yeah, most certainly. It's not something we normally see. Of course, the only real world implement that I can think about that is maybe British touring car and the likes of Jason Plato just consistently scoring a 6th place finish to get himself as close as he can in that respect. Certainly going to be interesting, but we do have your classified results right now for your first race of this 2-race evening, and well, certainly been a very interesting race. Nato Nascimento has taken the win by just over 12.9 seconds over Bebu Girolami there in the number 63 machine. Marcia Arizon will finish 3rd with Thiago Izquiel finishing off in 4th. Vitor Gens will finish in the top 5 with Syandra 6th. Gustavo Yanez 7th. Renan Azaredo is 8th. And well, also there 9th is Jefferson Ramos. And also Fabio Alki will run out the top 10. There you can see there Bruno DeCamo in 13th down the field. Jose Telmo could have done a lot better in that respect. Massive credit to Paulo Cesar Villas-Boas. 42nd to 16th is always going to be a fantastic result in that respect, but you can see as you head further down, the cars that are 1 lap down, 2 laps down, even Rubens Barrichello in the 111, who had that instant in the 2nd lap of this race, really shown that not everyone is immortal, and we do have one guy waiting for us. His name is Syandra here after this first race, and well, let's bring him in. Let's see what he has to say. Well, Cy, it certainly has been a good race for you. Of course, up into what was the top, the podium positions, then heading yourself into the final couple of laps. It just seemed that when you hit pit lane, it just seemed it all went wrong for you.
Yeah, I think there was a small miscommunication because I planned for 20 minutes of racing, and the race was 25 minutes long. I think Renan and I both made the same mistake. So, last lap pits for Splash and Dash, definitely interesting, and definitely turned the race on its head, I think.
Yeah, most certainly. And what it does mean, though, is that you do have yourself a little bit of a smaller benefit heading into what is the second race. You now find yourself a little bit further up the grid than you would have what you would have normally would have had. And you find yourself now in a fantastic position to really focus, get those 40 minutes of the next race sorted, and really recover your night.
Definitely, that 3rd place is inviting for the long 40-minute race. One problem is Renan will be starting first, and you know how he and I were battling for the whole race, so that'll definitely make it interesting.
Definitely make it interesting indeed. And well, for you, it just seems that you need to just focus, you need to keep yourself calm, keep yourself cool, and where you're looking into this next race, and it is going to be longer, and you are going to start thinking that maybe there are going to be a couple of things that are going to be a little bit different, and really, this is all about the opportunity here to race with the likes of Rubens Barrichello. It wasn't ideal for him to see his instant early on in the race. Did you manage to catch that and take your own little view of it?
I did, but mostly it was out of the corner of my eye because I was focusing on the 3 wide situation that was developing behind me, if I'm honest.
Yeah, most certainly. Of course, all charity exports here to go into this race is going straight to the Barrichello Institute. Syandra there, thank you for joining us for Blackadder Racing. We're going to take a short break right now, and when we come back, race 2 will be there broadly on the horizon. Welcome back to what is the Rubens Barrichello Challenge here on iRacing Live here, brought to you by Racebot TV, of course. Jake Sperry, Rachel Whiteford, and also Mr. Randy Chenouth here in the commentary box for you for what will be the second race of 2 of this evening. It's going to be a lot longer now. It's not 25 minutes, it's 40 minutes. And one of the big talking points, Randy, as we come into this race, it's track temperature. It's gone a whole lot down, which means it's a completely different challenge.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna, that'll be probably a bit easier in some ways. That'll make the track a little bit more grippy. You will be fighting a lot less oversteer than you were in that hotter session, but the track's also going to be quite a bit quicker, probably something to the tune of about 1.5 to 2 seconds. So it's going to be all sorts of different for these guys out here in these Formula Renaults for this second 40-minute race.
Yeah, most certainly, and well, there was quite a few things that went on in the last race. Of course, we did find ourselves the winner being the number 75 machine. That car is Nato Nascimento, who had himself now the target on his back after being the race winner. But it was all about the talk, Rachel, about the guys who were second and third heading into the final lap. That was the cars of Syandra in the number 1, and also you had to look at the other driver that was there, and that driver was Renan Azaredo. And you look at them, they both came into pit lane, and we're thinking there's a little bit of tactics that were involved.
Yeah, we certainly are. Of course, we talked to Syandra. He said he had, the expected 20 minutes of racing, and they had both put in fuel for 20, as they'd been told during the briefing. So, what was a mistake, it seems both of them used tactical advantage. We know there's a top 8 inversion in this race, so I guess they realised once they were running low on fuel, they had to pit. They might as well, if they weren't going to finish in the top 3 on a podium, they might as well finish in the bottom of the top 8. And they did just that.
Yeah, most certainly, and that means that they have possibly one of the best opportunities then to put themselves in a fantastic position for this race. Now, one that we don't really normally talk about here is what is turns number 4 and 5, Randy. It's the Esquina de Largo. It's the left-hander. You get in on the brakes, down into what is 80 miles an hour, before heading yourself out on the right-hander, up through the gears, making sure you get yourself as quick as you can. It's so understated just how difficult it is when you run off. And I've seen a couple of guys do it already in the opening race. I've seen a couple of guys do it in this practice session. It is very easy here to get yourself offline, make that mistake, and find any barrier along the circuit.
Yeah, turn number 4 is kind of turn number 5 is relatively easy flat, but turn number 4 is actually deceivingly difficult really in any car, and it's very, very easy to get the entry too quick. You'll carry too much speed through the mid-corner, and you'll carry out to that curb on the right. And that curb on the right is not even. It'll kind of high center the car, and you can either push and just run really, really wide, or that curb will make that car want to snap on you and just spin you around. And when that happens, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. A lot of being quick here at Interlagos is just not being overly brave with these curbs.
Yes, most certainly, and well, we've got to look at the 111 car now, heading himself around on circuit. That's Rubens Barrichello, of course, the former Formula 1 driver. There used to be part of the Ferrari outlet, Braun, Honda, Williams, you name it, Stewart. He's been in pretty much every good team, and he's shown what a good driver he can be. Now, what's very interesting is that this is all down on his collective here, this Rubens Barrichello Challenge, because all proceeds to this race, it's all going to the Barrichello Institute, which is vital in making children's lives, elderly people's lives better here in Brazil, and it's a fantastic scheme that all the money is going to go to. And of course, if you want to donate yourself, you can always find yourself over at the Barrichello Institute website also. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity here for all these drivers to go and say, I finished a race ahead of Rubens Barrichello. The first race, most of the drivers did have that opportunity, Rachel. They had the opportunity because Barrichello got into an incident with, I believe, De Souza, and it didn't quite work out. It didn't, DeCarmo even. It didn't quite work out. It wasn't the best for Barrichello, and now it's all about redemption for the second race.
It certainly was, Jake. It was Bruno DeCarmo, the TNT driver there, that had the incident with Rubens Barrichello, and hopefully neither of them want to repeat that in this second race. So it's going to be a real race for redemption for those drivers. They want to get a good finish. Both of them were incredibly quick. They want to get back up towards the front. They want a podium. They want to win.
Yeah, most certainly you can see these drivers all looking for that opportunity to say that they are the best here in this field today. And well, Nato Nascimento has said that he could be the best, but it's all going to be down to who does the best right now. This practice session is over. Gridding starts to begin. Our qualifying here is technically has things follows right now. will be Renan Azeredo, who puts his car up on pole position. Then he'll be joined on the front row by Gustavo Yanez. Syandra there will be third with Victor Gens. Thiago Itquiel in fifth there. Marcio Arizon in sixth. Bebe Girolami 7th, Nato Nascimento 8th, Cyclodon back. There you can see down the field, Bruno DeCarmo there in 12th, and looking further down, Barrichello, P number 25, and you look at the names that could all start to cause a little bit of an upset. It will certainly be an interesting one that you need to see, and while there is one mandatory pit stop that will be required, so you're going to see the strategy game start to play out. Picture your race wins from here, guys. It's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it really is. I think we're going to see Nito Nascimento here. He's very, very quick in that first race. And even though he starts P8 with that mandatory pit stop that's really going to shake things up, I think he can work his way from P8 back up to the front.
Rachel?
It's certainly going to be a tough one, of course. We know this track's difficult, but here we go. Ready now.
Ready and go. We are green. We are underway, and it's a very, very good start then from Azeredo at the front of the field. You can see already Syandra makes the jump up into P number 2, side by side, 3 wide, as they head themselves down to the center S for the very first time tonight. Well, very first time here in this second race. You can see already finding themselves around. Are we all clean? Are we all green?
Crash.
Are we all go? No, we have one car who has found himself sliding through, and
Jake,
actually,
sorry.
yeah,
One
we
behind
have
him, actually, in the S's.
Oh yeah, we got a huge incident then, and that is huge. We're going to see about the whole back of the field just completely swiped out of it. Nobody really wanted that at the back, but the safe thing is quite a few drivers have made that through safe, made that through clean, but we still have races to go. Car off in the infield right now here, Andy, and that is Anderson Candemill.
Not been, a very good start for anyone in this back half of the pack. We saw probably about 20 cars or so get hung up in turn 1, 2, and 3 with all varying amounts of damage, but I'm sure someone else who didn't like the start of the race was Renan Azeredo. Unfortunately for him, Syandra was able to get that move into P number 2 done very, very quickly, and he, is now trying to reel in Renan and try and just bring down that gap. Let's see how Nito Nascimento's been able to do. Well, he's actually fallen back, I think, maybe just a little bit, maybe gotten himself just a position or two, but maybe not the start he would have wanted.
No, certainly not. Into Junshan then for the first time, where you can see just how everyone now trying to put that power on, trying to get into that slipstream as quickly as they can. We're going to look here at Nascimento and exactly what he can do, but no, we're going to look at the battle for second. Syandra under pressure from Vitor Gens right now in the number 46. Battle for second, you can see side by side as they head themselves now. No room being given on the route down in towards the center S here. Well, can they get the move sorted? Well, they're going to remain side by side. Car trying to go through. That's Bebe Girolami. They're not getting it sorted out. There has to yield the position again to Gustavo Yanez, but for the time being, Gens almost gets it sorted. Doesn't quite happen right now, but already you can see the big names taken to the fore here, Rachel.
Certainly can, of course, Jake, and Barrichello himself up from P25 to P16 right now.
And he's passed other
was
cars
last
this
car
lap,
ahead.
so he's even more up the mat.
He was actually the car ahead of the wreck before it happened, so he hadn't passed cars involved in that, but moving up very
behind though. We have to see there's a car on its hoop there as it heads himself through, and well, you can see that's Alessandro Silva who's been involved in that incident. Replay then up on screen for you right now. So let's see what happened. It happened just behind Barrichello then on the way down in towards turn 4. We said it was going to be difficult at Esquina de Lago there. Carlos Newmar also involved, and it just seemed that Newmar left the door open but couldn't close it in time there, Randy.
Yeah, it really did. I think that was a bit of a brave move on Alessandro as well. Early stages of what is a much longer race than the first time. I think that was a little bit too brave and too optimistic of a move going into turn number 4. And but like you said, car ahead just kind of left that door open just a little bit. Maybe should have shut it a little sooner.
Yeah, most certainly you can see P number 2 is up in action right now. You can see the battle that's starting to go on. Syandra's going to have to yield this time to Vitor Gens here as they head themselves now for the center S. Moves across to the outside. The move was done and sorted. There could make sure he could take his racing line down to the left-hander. They come with the center S and made sure exactly what was being sorted of that one, but it's certainly not going to be over for the time being. Through the Curva de Sol, down on the run towards the Esquina de Lago, turns 4 and 5. You can see Syandra looking to camp underneath that slipstream, looking possibly at the move to the inside. No, defensive line being taken on the brakes. Not going to happen. Into the Esquina de Lago, looking for that cutback. Not going to happen, Rachel.
No, not at this stage. Just trying everything he can to find a spot through here, Jake, but there's no available line. This is what happened to him last time by. Stuck behind another car, couldn't quite find a way to get through. If you can stay close enough like this for the rest of the lap out of Young Gao, he can get a big run up the front straight. that will secure him the spot.
Yeah, most certainly here. You've got to look behind here at this lovely battle starting to develop there. Nascimento just ran wide a little bit there. He has Gustavo Yanes behind and Thiago Izquiel there in pursuit. And also someone there who's really looking to try and make his way through is Bruno De Carmo right now, Randy, here. He started off in 12th. He's now up into P number 8. He's looking at the back of Izquiel here. He's looking to try and get onto that train, which is the fight for second. Azaredo's out of the way, but De Carmo could really be a key factor as the race starts to head itself on.
Yeah, he really could. Bruno is obviously someone we've seen in a lot of these Formula No championships over the past 12 weeks be very, very competitive, be very quick. And Bruno, you know, he tends to be a little bit on the aggressive side too. He's not afraid to make moves. And speaking of making moves, talking about again Rubens and Barrichello, I believe he's going to have himself up into 11th position at the end of this lap. So we've seen 14 positions in the span of 3 laps done.
Oh, car around in turn 1. I believe that is, it's Neto Nascimento. He is rounded the Ceressus. Thankfully, everybody else avoids him there, Jake. Hope we get a replay of that one. But solo spin in the start of Ceressus. Oh, contact there was between himself and the 30 car. That was the car there of Gustavo Yanes.
Yeah, it is, and you could see exactly just how that one played out, just losing it under brakes. And now you can see that pack that started to form. It's all starting to go through. Bruno Carmo now at the front of that one here as they look to go side by side for Ferradura. Certainly very important here in this, what is going to be the battle further down the field. There was a battle for P3. Syandra has lost position, but they're still side by side. De Carmo, Izquierdo there looking with Jose Telmo there on the back, looking to try and find an opportunity through. Not going to happen. Arizion there looking for the opportunity, but they can see Barrichello's actually lost out to, well, not exactly lost out to Arizon, but now closing that gap. Yanes is now starting to fall off the pace here, Randy. You have to say that is possibly some damage on that number 30.
Yeah, he really has, and we can actually see that the front left part of that front wing is bent pretty bad. That's going to not be making anywhere near the downforce it needs to be, and it'll probably cause quite a bit of drag down this straight. Let's see how the cars behind of Marcio Arizon and Rubens Barrichello as they close down this front straightaway. And just look at that gap. It's just getting swallowed up on this run down into turn number 1. Gustavo, he's going to want to defend, but he's not going to be able to with this top speed.
Here we go. Barrichello looking at the inside at the center S. Can he get the move sorted down on the brakes? Well, he certainly gets the room, and he certainly gets the place. Gustavo Yanes then falling down the field like a stone, so you can see exactly how the battles are going to go on. Izquiel under threat from Jose Telmo in the 012 machine, side by side as they head themselves now down into the Esquina del Lago. You can see just how much little room they're going to be given on such a tight track, side by side. Still, no, Telmo's going to have to back out of it for the time being. Not going to work for the moment here, but the gaps have started to form right now, and it's a 3-car battle for second, in which where one certain Vitor Gens leads ahead of Girolami here, Rachel, and Syandra.
Yes, he certainly does, and it's evolving quite interesting here. Vitor Gens and Girolami definitely got through their teammates, got ahead of Syandra. He's running back in 4th, but it's a long race ahead of us here. Plenty of time, of course, as Rendo. Oh, he's checked out 3 seconds clear. That strategy play in the last race paid off for him in keeps. He's currently sitting 3 seconds, as I said, clear. No one around him, so out of draft range, running on his own. He can focus on setting his own times. He can focus, in fact, on running slower and run to the front of Victor Gens, so he doesn't use up everything he's got. I'll win in the race.
Yes, most certainly, and while Girolami and Gens, they were fighting incredibly hard in the first race, and now you can see just how close they get down to turn number 1. Not quite close enough, a little bit of a lock-up there, actually, from Vitor Gens. That might affect his run later on through the lap, but we do have side-by-side, and that's Telmo and Izquiel, and they're going to be contact, and round turns Telmo at the center S. Just look out for his rejoin there, make sure he gets it safe, but that's not ideal, and he drops himself down the field, as now you look at Barrichello now, having a look at Marcio Arizon, side-by-side, heading themselves into the left-hander. Certainly going to be interesting. Will Barrichello get the move sorted? Answer is, well, it's not going to happen for the time being, is it? Oh, yes, he does get that move. Fantastic work there, Randy.
He said he wasn't going to get it done, Jake. Who do you think he is? He wasn't in Formula 1 for no reason. Going down into turn number 4 there on the inside, gets that done and makes it look easy. Rubens is running an incredible pace right now to a lot of these guys that started up in this top 10. I think if Rubens hadn't carried as much damage as he did in this last race, he would have been able to race through this field. He's went from 25th to 8th to far, and he's raced his way to the front, because like you said, he started in front of that big wreck.
Yeah, most certainly, and well, it seems that I've just been schooled here in the land of the commentary box.
Get wrecked.
Say, correct. Barrichello now finding himself charging through the field right now. Thiago Izquiel next in sight for what is a very, very successful driver. We do have battles going on further down the field. You look at the likes of, say, Fabio Coelho then. Behind him is Anderson Candemil, of course, who had that incident earlier on in the race. And now you can see that gap really closing. It's in within.
I believe we might have lost Jake there, so just apologies for that, folks. But look towards the front, it's running Azeredo. As we said, yeah, 3.4 seconds now, big gap for him, of course. Behind him is Jalami, is in second position, but fighting now with Cy Anders there. Anders getting through again. He got past against Randy.
Oh, we got a car
off
off.
He goes. Hirami off. What happened there? That was a very unusual situation, Randy.
Yeah, that was just, we talked about it during the pre-race, turn number 3 and 4. That curve can be very, very slick, and watch Bibo Girolami, he just goes through turn 3 and, turn 4 and 5, actually. He gets off onto that AstroTurf, gets loose, overcorrects to the right, and off into that wall hard. That's going to be his race done, and that's actually going to move Rubens up another place. Rubens might be knocking on a top 5 here at the end of this lap, as he also, I believe, has put another car behind him. Actually, no, he hasn't done so just quite this lap, but Rubens absolutely flying through this field thus far.
He certainly is. He's catching the car ahead of him. That is Thiago Izquiel. He is catching up to the back of that number 17 machine, and Bruno De Carmo ahead of them both. So 13 seconds behind your lead at the moment, Randy, for Barrichello. He is catching the 17. De Carmo is 4 seconds ahead of them. So he's getting closer to the front as we can welcome Jake back to the broadcast booth.
Not yet, it seems, so I'll just pick up here as they run down now and into turn number 1, Vitor Gens. Just, holding a good station right now in turn number 3, trying to reel into that gap to the P2 car. Cy actually spins in turn number 3 going through the set of essence. Manages to, make a miraculous save, not hit that Armco barrier off of turn number 3. Very well done for him, but that's going to be disastrous for him in terms of pace. We're just seeing a lot of simple mistakes here take people out of contention here. And Cy actually goes past a very slow car. That car's actually lapped down, and Rubens Barrichello making a big move up the inside into turn number 4. That's going to be job done, and that's going to upgrade Rubens up to into our top 5, Rachel.
It certainly is. Rubens Barrichello passing the 17 car there, Thiago Izquiel, and great move completed by Barrichello. He is in your top 5. Finally, 20 positions gained for Rubens Barrichello on the racetrack today here. And Randy, we talk about how this is such a tough track, it seems, for drivers. It's clear skies here, 69 degrees Fahrenheit, track temperature 78, wind is from the north 3 miles an hour, humidity very low, 39%. This track has a huge amount of grip, almost too much. Drivers are almost being encouraged to push these cars harder than they possibly would, and it is seeming to bite in the traction.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly might be, and in these sort of conditions, like you said, you might be generating too much grip. You might even be struggling to keep your tires up to temperature, might be struggling those grip levels just a little bit. Obviously, the last race, it was kind of the reverse issue. People were tending to overheat their tires. Right now, Rubens Barrichello worked his way down this front straightaway. I thought he might have been thinking about taking his mandatory pit stop for this race now that he's got himself a bit of clean air. Just get that done, but no, he's just driving the optimal line down that slightly curved front straightaway. But just looking back out front, Renan Azeredo now, after that little hiccup from Cyandra, got himself a nearly 7-second gap to P2 of Vitor Gens. Renan is absolutely just cruising out there.
He certainly is, Randy. Certainly is. Regan Andrezo, he's running his own race here. The lap times aren't huge, well, they actually are pretty decent last time by 1:30.165, which is a blistering lap, but as you say, even in these conditions especially, you do have to run harder than you would normally want to, just to keep those tyres warm. You actually have got grip. We know these drivers have an enforced pit stop, so 20 minutes realistically, or 20 minutes on a run before you come into the pits, that is a fairly comfortable window to push these cars hard as beginning to lap traffic there. That is Bruno H. Santos getting passed by your leader. I believe that wasn't actually, I was completely wrong, that was actual Sergio Rafael Filio. He gets past with no issues whatsoever. But Azeredo, great run from him. Victor Gans up to second position at the moment, but about to be passed, it seems, by, I believe that's one of the drivers from it's a lap down car. I apologise for that one, but Diander's back up into P4 at the moment. Barrichello in P5. He's actually gaining now. That time has dropped back down, and We can see the 46 car into the pit road. That's Gantz on pit road very early here. Getting that stop done quickly, Randy, so you can focus on the rest of the race.
Yeah, he really is. And right now, just talking about someone who's absolutely flying right now is Bruno De Carmo. He put in the fastest lap of the race 2 laps ago to 29.8. And last time by, he was about a second and a half quicker than your leader of Renan Azeredo. So Renan needs to be, he's not quite out of the woods just yet. There's a lot of this race left to go. And if Bruno can maintain this pace through to the finish, he's going to be able to, possibly reel this gap in. We saw Renan in the last race. He would struggle just a little bit in the traffic. He needs to figure out how to get through this traffic more quickly because people just seem to be doing it better than he is.
Certainly does. There's a lot of traffic here, of course. We see Bruno there passing another lap car. There are lap cars everywhere. The lap car not getting out of the way, actually. He is definitely not moving over, which is not particularly sporting behaviour, but Bruno De Carmo very...
Oh no!
Taking that... Oh, big impact there as a lapped car nearly takes out the lead, or second place car there. Gotta work out what car that is for us.
The first race going into turn number 3, we saw him with the, he was missing a front nose, and he caused that incident between cars that were running in the top 5. So yeah, Dennis, I think out here, Dennis needs to be a little bit more mindful here about who's around him, and he's got a lot of damage again. I think Dennis, he's in a position he needs to just he needs to stay out of people's way, and better yet, he needs to just pull the car off the track, which he's not going to do just yet, of course, as Rubens Barrichello right now is coming down, is going to be watching him. Hopefully, Rubens is aware of the fact that the car's got a lot of damage, is very difficult to drive, and that he just clipped a car in front of him here just a second ago, and he's able to get this job done safely.
Certainly, that's going to have definitely impacted Bruno De Carmo's race. Of course, no real big incident there. He didn't spin off the track. He was in one piece entirely. That's a little bit of side pod scratching. That car doesn't look terrible, though. Certainly carrying good speed through the center S's. That's a really good challenge, Randy, of a car's performance handling. If you're taking any or carrying any damage, it will affect your on-track behavior. The center S's will shake it out if it's there.
Yeah, we will do is we're actually now rejoined by Jake. And Jake, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but we do have ourselves a fantastic race going on then. Pit stop window is certainly not open just yet, but we're seeing drivers trying to make some adverse strategies. We have seen that with Vitor Gens, who dropped himself down to 8th. There you can see Bruno De Carmo right now in the number 6 machine. He just gets himself past Sergio Romalo Filio right now. They're just doing a fantastic job of just navigating traffic just now. Of course, we did see that hairy moment here, Randy, and it's certainly going to be interesting to see whether we get ourselves into a scrap here. It's actually Syandra's going to turn around 90 at Jun Shao. Let's get ourselves a replay of that. Barrichello plus is one again. Well, he's certainly striking some gold here. Down the brakes, he just carried too much speed, it just seemed there. Ian just couldn't get the car sorted there. Didn't work out.
Yeah, that's the second spin we've seen from inside this race. While you were gone, he actually spun in turn number 3 and almost hit that wall very hard, but he managed to get lucky and miss it. Sai really struggling with the traction here in these cooler conditions.
Yes, most certainly, and Rachel, you do have to look here very, very comfortably at what is Rubens Barrichello right now. He's now up into your podium positions from 25th on the grid. That just shows the class of driver he is.
Certainly is, in fact, an incredible run by him, up 22 positions. But mistakes by a lot of cars ahead of him, of course. That's what we've seen so far. A lot of self-induced moments and other things. We talked to Randy about this before you came back, Jake. These tyres are very cold, very hard to keep up to operating temperature. These drivers having to push very hard to do just that, and if anything, these cars are oversteering a little bit. These cars are not quite prepared for this temperature range. And, of course, Interlagos is quite a high-altitude track, so engine power down a little bit with the operating ceiling we're at. A lot of cars locking up those tyres, definitely indicative of tyres not quite sticky enough.
Yes, most certainly, side by side, Fancini there, and a little bit of contact with Fabio Coelho, and now the door open for Nato Nascimento then to slot himself through down the inside, up into the top 10 there. It was very, very difficult, very shaky there. It was not exactly what you need to do. Mistake from the 45 as well, your race leader also.
And you have spun in Young Sal.
Oh, Renan Azeredo then, not ideal from his standards. Let's see exactly what has happened in that respect.
Oh, yes. Impact in turn 1. Renan's around again. Renan's around again. This is surely going to give Bruno De Carmo the lead, and it might even put... Actually, no, Bruno's in the pits right now, so very good timing for Renan to spin, but Rubens Barrichello can see that leader of Renan Azeredo. We were talking about Renan struggling in the traffic, and in the space of a straightaway here, Jake, we have 2 incidents with Renan trying to navigate it.
Yeah, it's really not worked out for Azeredo. He thought he was clear. He really isn't. And now he's got the former Formula 1 driver, just breathing down his neck into the Desquita del Lago right now. You can see into turn number 5, the second part of it. Barrichello's gap. Here he's got one car in between them. That car is Sergio Romano Filio right now. And you can see Barrichello. He can see the race lead ahead of him. But what this does mean is, with Bruno De Carmo coming in early here for his stop, you do have to say it hasn't worked out for him, because now he's in traffic. There is Syandra. There is Vitor Gens. He's got to navigate that one, Rachel. But that's going to be very difficult from two very quick drivers.
Yeah, certainly, it certainly is. And well, this race certainly got exciting all of a sudden as we're getting strategy in. But of course, we do know that Bruno De Carmo has pitted. Renan hasn't, and we know that Rubens hasn't. So that's going to be an interesting one to see when these two drivers will come in. And what this will mean to their laps, of course, we are just past that 20-minute mark now, or approaching it. And that's about halfway, so these guys are all starting to think about coming onto pit road. These tyres, well, the drop-off hasn't been much, but the cars do seem to have gotten looser towards the end of the run.
Third time lucky then for what is Renan Azeredo right there, getting himself past Alessandro Silva then, and Barrichello now just sitting there waiting. Gap as they cross the line was 1.7 seconds. That is going to be all that separates these guys at the moment. And well, pit stops are going to be certainly very, very crucial here, Randy. Of course, it is a short pit lane, and it is a very short fuel when it comes to fuel.
Yeah, it really is, and actually with this, I'm not quite sure what the session regulations are, as we're going to get a bit of a throwback here. We're going to talk about how much fuel these guys have. Obviously, it's a 40-minute race. If there's people out here heavy on fuel, maybe they can just take a bit of a splash, have a shorter stop. There might be people out here who are light.
Syandra's in the wall, and he's got heavy damage as well. That's Syandra gone out. Replay up on screen right now. The number 2 machine has got himself through, heading himself through turn number 3. Just seemingly to me, just didn't get anything right. Just got a little bit of a wiggle and just completely caught the barrier.
Yeah, he kind of had like a half wiggle or something from about the mid corner. He was really wheeling that car all the way through it. Either that or he got damaged somewhere and was just trying to get back around to the pits, and coming off of turn number 3, he just lost it and into the wall he went. You know, very unfortunate for Syandra. Had a very strong race in race number 1 and was looking good in race number 2 with the exception of those couple of mistakes.
Nascimento turned around, replay up on screen then. Let's see what's happened there. So Izquier does a fantastic job, and then just trying to navigate the traffic as well. That's Dennis Hoover, who's already been involved in 1 incident today with traffic, 2 incidents today, makes it his 3rd, and Nascimento gets turned around, Rachel. Not ideal. His recovery's gone from bad to worse.
I say not ideal, but this 34 car is acting like a moving chicane. It seems nobody is safe around that car. As much as, you know, we understand everyone's not doing anything by intention, that car is so heavily damaged. I don't think that car should be on the racetrack anymore, Jake. It's only ever seeming to cause problems for the driver. He can't control the car because it's so heavily damaged. But he is, and we have to deal with that. But Barrichello, just looking back towards the front, 2 seconds off your lead now. This is the guy who started 25th, as we are looking now at 46 car. And the 6th car is Bruno De Carmo there, and Vitor Gens. Bruno De Carmo coming on strong. He has been down pit road, we believe. Oh, now he is chasing that number 46 car. Ahead of him, we'll see if he can make the move.
Most certainly we can, into what is now the left-hander of the Pinarino right now. You can see a wider line taken through the corner before there from Vitor Gens, looking to maximise his run into the Bico de Pato. Then you can see going incredibly tight, a little bit tighter as well. There goes the car of Bruno De Carmo, and he is right underneath that gearbox here through the left-hander. Will he have a look into Jun Xiao? Well, there's a little bit of traffic, so no, he's going to back out of it. He's going to wait for his opportunity to arise. Doesn't quite happen for the time being. Barrichello will stay out, so will Azevedo there, and where you can see exactly just how these two are going to go. You're going to see Vitor Gens at the moment just have that little bit of a 3/10 gap that's going to close up further and further and further. Black flag for Dennis Hoover. He is out of the race. There, the moving chicane is now gone, so that's going to be a little bit of light off the shoulders. But for the time being, Randy, De Carmo looking for the opportunity, not quite coming up in what he needs.
Yeah, I mean, and Bruno having already pit right here, I think he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He doesn't need to be overly aggressive trying to get around Vitor, as he doesn't really have a huge gap to the cars in front. Right now, is actually he's going to look to turn number 4. He does have a bit of an opportunity, perhaps. Not able, oh, he closes up a lot on the brakes, and actually he hiccups just a little bit, gets a little sideways, has to back way out of that. Bruno, obviously being the only car that's really pit thus far, he needs to just be patient.
Yeah, it really does have to do a lot to try and get himself in the right position. Beto Aquino then, he is there out on the road. And actually there is contact. That's Beto Montero and Bruno Turati there. Turati in the number 11. Let's see exactly what's happened in that respect. That's coming into the Pinarino right now. You can see door left wide open by Turati. Comes in to cut across, 2 into 1. That won't go. That is an incident.
Yeah, very big incident, or a sizable incident there, Jake. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed. Let's look at the 111 machine. That is Rubens Barrichello right now. Will he head himself down to pit lane? No, he's going to stay out for yet another lap. So will Azaredo right now. So they're really going to try and run that long stint here, Rachel. They are going to be in a position where they are going to be trying to go as quickly as they possibly can, in a position where they are trying to run that long stint, trying to make sure they get as much of the fuel out so they can get as short a stop as possible. It's just a game of chicken for Barrichello. He's coming in when Azaredo's going to come in. It's just a game of waiting.
It certainly is, and just going to take a quick look at one of the cars we know has pitted. That is Bruno De Carmo there, Jake. Looking at his, well, he's not pitted actually. No, he did on lap 13. Not a huge amount of drop-off with how cold this is and how little the tyres are actually working, so yes, you're right, you will get a faster pit stop, but otherwise, if the tyres were being used, of course, you'd want to actually be pitting kind of evenly, because then you balance the actual drop off in lap time over the time in pit road, because it can negate itself if you run so long that you have a short stop. You'll have wasted time on track. Here, not a concern, so these guys can work as long as they want there. Looking at Bruno De Carmo there in position number 5 at the moment, chasing Victor Gens. Both drivers locking up heavily. These tyres trying get the temperature, just not able to. This rubber is cold. These guys are doing everything they can to try and manage this.
Oh, certainly they are coming up on traffic. There's Bruno H. Santos and Beto Montero just ahead of them. You can see the run down to Junsha. You can see a little bit wider there goes Vito against there compared to Bruno De Carmo, but De Carmo gets a fantastic run off of that infield section out to Junsha. Now on the run down these left-handers here as it just bumps and bangs. You can see Bruno De Carmo now moving to the outside, looking for that one big opportunity, but he gets out of that slipstream, and it just seems he doesn't have enough top end on his car here, Randy. Here as he makes the run down to turn number 1. They are going to go side by side into the center as they both lock up heavily, but it's still, at the moment, it's going to be the car of Vito Gens who is out and away at the moment.
Bruno there, I think he just jetted out of that slipstream just a little bit too early. He got himself out there, and he just kind of hit that big wall of air going down into turn number 1. Wasn't able to pull up quite alongside the way he needed to, and really what's unfortunate for Bruno, he's obviously out there on the new rubber as and the lighter possibly fuel load, but he's not closing on the guards in front any more than he really, or as much as he needs to be. Renan Azaredo just put in his best lap of 29.975. Bruno just ran at 30.0, and even Rubens ran at 30.3. So for somebody who's out there on new tires, Bruno needs to pick up the pace.
Randy, I'm wondering actually if there's a problem, maybe a tactical issue here with these guys. With these tyres not working so much, and with the track being quite loose and low in grip, surely having less fuel in the car on your pit stop and pitting later is going to be a negative factor. The car will be lighter, the car will move around a lot more. If anything, a heavier car might actually feel better and make the car more raceable.
It's possible. The other thing to possibly think about is with the lower temperatures, it's difficult to get these tires up to temperature, and because of that, obviously these guys who pit earlier and they got that new rubber, they're going to have to spend 2, maybe 3 laps really getting those tires up to temperature. As right now, Bruno De Carmo, speaking of getting up to temperature, he's heating up going into turn number 1, looking on the outside again of Vitor Gens, and I think he's going to have this job done as he has the line through turn number 2, and now through turn number 3 is actually Vitor Gens coming back on the inside through turn number 3. He has the line, and he has this pass basically well defended here. Does Vitor Gens on this run down into turn number 4. Very well done by Vitor there, Jake.
Yeah, certainly Vitor Gens really showing his class in the defence, and it might still not be over just yet. I think it just is for the time being, though. You can see the run up the hill. This is where the slipstream becomes even more crucial now. Run to Ferradura, turn number 6. Double apex right, not going to happen for the time being here for Bruno De Carmo, who's just trying to look at exactly what he's done with his move, and he's thought, how on earth am I still not past this guy? I've been trying lap after lap. I'm losing time on the leaders now, trying to find my way through. It isn't working out for him right now, Rachel. It really is starting to become a case of what could have been at the moment for Bruno De Carmo.
Yeah, it certainly is. Bruno just not quite got what he needs for this race. He's down in 5th place. not really had the ability to get past Gens. He's really not had the speed, even on coming through here. Young Cow trying to find a way past on the straight. This should be easy with the draft. Makes me think he's running a bit higher downforce to try and combat this cold weather. And it doesn't seem to be suiting his car too well, although I might be about to eat commentator Tumble Pie as he gets a big draft run here. What can he do running towards turn 1?
Yeah, most certainly. You can see Gens on the inside. You can see DeCamo on the outside, on the brakes once again for about the third time. Trying to run it side by side. Can they get the move sorted? Well, it's into the second part. You can see exactly what is going to go on. And well, we're going to look further up. Rubens Barrichello does a 29.6. That one has come completely out of left field, but we're going to go back to the battle. DeCamo has the move at the moment. Gens on the outside as they head to the Desquita del Lago, and I think for the time being, Gens is going to have to yield, or is he? Because he's going to get the cutback through the second part. Outside line for Ferradura. It's going to be so important here. What a fantastic battle we're seeing, and still Vitor Gens thinks he's got it. Does he have it? They're going to remain side by side for what is turn number 8. Half a lap of surely fantastic battling, and it's still not over yet here, Rachel.
Certainly not. They're side by side yet again, but no, they're still side by side. I was going to say they weren't, but every time we think they're done, these guys keep bringing that battle back to this race. Side by side again, but Camo will actually get it this time by Bruno DeCamo securing that spot. We believe, although he's going to fall victim to Gens as they come out of Young Cow here. Needs a great run through the corner here for Bruno DeCamo. Just about gets it, but so does Victor Gens.
It's a better one.
Pass back towards the the big draft effect there in display. Looks like Victor Gens could definitely have that run into turn 1.
Rubens Barrichello then comes down onto pit road. Let's see where he drops himself out. He is now out. He is now trying to get away, but where is his rivals? Side by side into the center S. Barrichello's been leaked, but there is a bit of a slide there going on for what is Bruno DeCamo, and DeCamo has to yield the position to Vitor Gens in the end. But what that is going to do is now allow Barrichello coming out of the pit lane to leech right onto the back. You can see the back mark traffic there of Bruno H. Santos now starting to try and unlap itself. Barrichello's right there. He's been the man to go in first. So it's now all down on Renan Azeredo right now here, Randy, to make his pit stop and make sure that he gets himself out and away.
Yeah, P2 actually, Jose Telmo still needs to stop as well. And Rubens we've seen been very, very quick. And was just, as short as left of this race, about 8.5 minutes. I doubt Rubens took tires. Because of that, his tires are already be up to temperature. And because of that, I think we're going to see Rubens be very, very quick here. And obviously, after just pulling off that 29.6, the tires were obviously in fantastic condition for him. I think even though Rubens may be a little down the order right now from where the way the pit cycled through for him, I think he's going to be able to fight through and might be able to make something happen with this just yet.
Most certainly, Azeredo stays out once again then, so that's going to be very crucial to see whether that will play its part in the next few laps here right now. You can see the battle for second, third and fourth right now, and actually someone that we haven't really talked about right now this race here, Rachel, is Jose Telmo right now, who's up into P number 2 at the moment. He is yet to make his stop, we do believe, but for the time being he's just running his own race and he's doing exactly the right thing at the moment.
Certainly is, Jake. He's running a very good race, flawless. In fact, he has not made his pit stop, I can confirm that. But he will yet have to come down pit road, as does your race leader. Azeredo, he's not come into pit lane yet. But he has also been into the 29s recently. He's put in some blistering laps. We've seen a 29.9, a 29.8, and a 29.7 lap this lap just gone. So these tyres really just getting into the operating window. Incredible speeds by your leader and Rubens Barrichello. Both running great times. Barrichello, that time is the fastest race so far, 29.692. In fact, he's cowled up to the back there of Bruno DeCamo, and that is also the driver there of Victor Gens ahead of them. So we could be seeing a three-way fight, at least for third, and these two have to pit.
Yeah, most certainly, and where you can see exactly how it works then. The tyres not quite wearing as much as we are really anticipating here. DeCamo looking for his opportunity, still trying to sniff the blood, still trying to find his way through. Not going to happen. Azeredo stays out once again. Will Telmo stay out this time by? Answer is going to be an affirmative. No, he's not going to go into the pit lane this time by, but we are going to see Vitor Gens right now under threat from Bruno De Carmo. Carmo onto the outside, looking for the opportunity here to go around the outside. Only 19 cars on the lead lap, but you can see De Carmo looking for that opportunity down to the center S once again.
Oh,
A
they
wide
both
line
took the
taken, cut back, come along. Carmo, De Carmo's got a stormer, but Gens is certainly not going to look out of this one here. And look at
Watch
Barrichello.
Rubens,
Barrichello back into the fray here, Randy. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's actually Bruno De Carmo just put it in the fastest lap of the 6.42. They're going to go side by side in a turn number 4, and this is going to bring Rubens right back into the mix of things. I wouldn't be surprised if Rubens has a look on the run up into P number 6. He's there coming through turn number 5 right now, and he looks to the inside, but the roof's not there. Surely not 3 wide, Rubens, and he backs out of it very wisely. But he might be able to cycle past Vitor Gens here if he holds this inside line. He might just be able to get this job done. He's braking very late, very hard. No, not able to get it done as they go side by side in the Pinerino. Not able to get it done yet is Rubens, but that brought that gap down for him from about 2 seconds down to nothing.
Absolutely fantastic then. Barrichello is looking for an opportunity. This is your fight for the podium right now, and everyone is just looking at each other, thinking, where is the opportunity? There is a guy in pit lane, and his name is going to be Renan Azeredo right now. So Jose Telmo, will he also follow in this situation? Answer is going to be yes. He does drop himself down to pit lane, so your leaders have come in. So now it's going to be all about where they go. And look at this train. And well, at the front of it is going to be De Carmo. 1 wide, 2 wide, 3 wide almost. Oh, they're going to be so tight to the wall. And you can see now Barrichello having to run to the outside. This is fantastic. Heading themselves down to turn 1, and on the brakes, De Carmo getting wary. Barrichello will back out of it, but where is Azeredo in all this? Telmo's just come out of pit lane. Azeredo,
Look at Barrichello's run.
Yeah, look at Barrichello's run. Azeredo back out and ahead in the lead, but now you can see just how everything's working out. You just cannot catch your breath right here, Rachel. Down to the Skidder Lago, and what you can see right now, De Carmo trying to run the outside. Barrichello just can't see to get a stiff in. As you can see, De Carmo runs wide.
Yeah, they're okay. De Carmo runs wide. There's a lap car spun in front of them, and Barrichello is through there. All he has is Vitor Gens ahead of him to get past. But we do know he has passed Azeredo. He is
Azeredo's ahead.
Azeredo is ahead of him. Azeredo is ahead, but it's not a big gap there, so this is achievable. This is about 2.5 seconds, I believe, at the moment, Jake. But as it stands, Rubens Barrichello has to deal against. He's been held up by these 2 cars for about a lap and a half now. This has really cost him a lot of on-track speed.
Yeah, most certainly. 5-second gap, and we are under 5 minutes to go in this 40-minute race right now. You can see Gens just starting to pull out that little bit of a gap. Barrichello, maybe the light is starting to fade from the F1 driver. You can see De Carmo, who's going to be hassling behind him as they head themselves now down this front straightaway once again. You can see already they're all just trying to switch, all trying to move, all trying to find the way through. You can see how tight they're going to go. De Carmo, he's probably going to have to do it around the outside, is he? Oh, you can see just how close they go under the gearbox down into the center as they come along. And where you can see just how Rubens Barrichello, using that experience, planting his car on the inside, he has really fought for this one here. And well, at the moment, he's on the podium. This is a massive scrap for the podium with just so few laps to go. And still De Carmo looks, Randy. Still De Carmo wishes, and De Carmo goes to the outside. Here, he's not been given too many good opportunities.
Yeah, De Carmo needs to be very, very patient here. There's a lot of lap traffic is actually part of it. Actually, he holds up Rubens just a little bit. Rubens might come under attack here as they head down into turn number 6. And no, Bruno's not going to throw it up the inside here. He knows this isn't a very good passing opportunity. Right now, the leader's kind of slowly skipping away with this gap right now. It's not coming down anywhere nearly with the pace it needs to be. It's still just 5 seconds is the gap from Vitor Gens to Renan Azeredo. But this 3-way scrap for P2, it's still absolutely going off.
Yeah, most certainly you can see now the run into the Bico de Pato coming along. You can see here now lap traffic starts to play its part once again. That's Jose Pino there, who's trying to get himself out of the way. So that's going to just drag in for the time being. Vitor Gens on the brakes, they come along, gets out of the way nicely. But now you can see the run then, and it's a fantastic run then from Bruno De Carmo in the battle for the podium. It will be this time by 2 to go as things are going to stand right now, because you look at De Carmo, he's sat right underneath that gearbox, waiting for the opportunity, waiting for the chance to get out of that slipstream and get himself through. And what you're going to see, he's not going to be close enough here. He can't quite make the move on Barrichello on the brakes into turn number 1. Barrichello holds on for the time being to the final spot on the podium, but Vitor Gens now must be smiling as he sees the battles behind, Rachel.
But I don't think he's smiling yet, because Barrichello is certainly a veteran dogfighter in a situation like this, of course, and well, there's still plenty of time for him to make a move there on Vitor Gens. He's going to try, looking like he's going to try and make a move. No, he will not make that move down into the end of the Rui Posta. He'll have a good run here, though, on the outside of Gens. He will go for the outside move. Will this be possible to complete this one? Can carry that momentum around the outside? No, he goes underneath him, drops back. Not going to be able to find a time there. This is incredible racing for second. Of course, one of these drivers here, Jake, will lose out on the podium. One driver has to go home disappointed. Will it be Gens? Will it be Barrichello? Or will it be DeCarmo? But I tell you what, this is incredible.
It certainly is. Bico de Pato, penultimate time. You can see Vitor Gens runs a little bit wider there. Takes a lot more curb than he would have done in previous laps. So maybe, just maybe the tyre's starting to go just that little bit into Jun Xiao then. And he gets a massive twitch. But he still has that little bit of a gap right now. And Barrichello's going to use the slipstream ahead to keep behind Bruno DeCarmo. And that's going to be so crucial here as we start our final lap of the moto race. The white flag will be out. This is the opportunity, and Barrichello's going to seize it surely here as he looks. He goes to the outside then on what is Vitor Gens here. We're focusing on this one. They're going to go close down it towards turn number 1 here on the brakes into the center S, and Barrichello holds the outside for the second part, and now looking for an opportunity. It's DeCarmo around the outside of Gens. Not going to happen this time by, but you're going to see now the slipstream starting to take effect. Gap to the front, 2.7 seconds. There, allowing to cruise at the moment is seemingly Renan Azeredo, who heads himself now through to the Esquina de Lago. Look at the inside for Vitor Gens. No, he's going to have to wait, but he runs wide on exit. That's going to compromise the run to Ferradura, and now DeCarmo can smell that opportunity right now. We'll have to try and do it the long way around, though. Not going to happen. And now there's going to be traffic, which is going to be so heavily implemented here in the battle for your podium right now. Barrichello clear in second, just for the time being, but you can see just how it closes up. It's certainly not going to be over. It might have to turn down to a drag race, but at some stage we are going to have to say Renan Azeredo has done a fantastic job. He stayed out and clear and run the long game, did exactly what he needed to do. But now Barrichello, we have to look. Gens, we have to look. DeCarmo, have to look. Jun Xiao, all about the run, all about who can place their car the best. This is where pressure tells, and now you can see they're all within range. They're all going to be there, but it is going to be Renan Azeredo who will win your motor race here at the circuit of Interlagos, second race round. But we've got to look at the drag race to the line. Here, the battle for second. I think Barrichello might just have it here, but the run, it's getting close. No, Barrichello holds on for second. Great effort from Vitor Gens. Not going to happen. Bruno DeCarmo, in the end, is the one who's going to get upset. He's missed out on the podium there, Randy.
Yeah, that's going to be very unfortunate for Bruno. He's very patient, and I think he's a little bit too patient. We saw multiple times that run into turn 1 on Rubens. He just kind of backed out of it, and he wanted that. He wanted the draft going into turn number 1 on this final lap. However, unfortunately for him, Vitor Gens didn't get a very good run coming into turn 1 for that final time, and Rubens was able to get the run he needed, was able to make that move into turn number 1 stick, and Rubens Barrichello from 25th on the grid up to second place.
Masterclass from what is a genius who was in Formula 1. Rubens Barrichello was rolling back the years there, making sure that's going to get that. Let's get a replay of this finish, especially that final lap, because that one surely, Rachel, just proved to be one of the all-time classics in the world of sim racing.
Well, that was a spectacular piece of racing there, and from the race we saw quite a lot of crashes happening in, of course, Jake. That was a masterclass. I have to give it to Barrichello, Gens, and DeCarmo. Those three drivers had a fantastic race. Let's not forget the laps where DeCarmo and Gens were side by side for so many corners in a row. Incredible driving there. Barrichello there, well, the veteran bested the two sim racers, as we expected he probably would, so they can't feel too bad. Just incredible racing. Incredible, respectful racing.
Let's take it then back to what was the center S on the final lap. You can see Barrichello on the outside, Gens leaving no room on the inside, doing everything he needs to do. He locks the brakes, he gets himself a little bit of a poor run there through turn number 2, and that is where the race was then second place won for Barrichello, because Gens had to worry about DeCarmo there on the outside of him, had to run side by side through the curve into Sol Randy, and from there it was just all about trying to play the defensive game for Barrichello, and Barrichello is a resilient fighter, and it's very difficult to find your way through on him.
Yeah, Barrichello, I mean, he defended perfectly, and something to note, I think every time Barrichello made a move on someone and ducked either into the inside or the outside, he got that job done. He didn't hesitate when he tried to make a move, which you see a lot of sim racers do, even a lot of the successful ones. They'll kind of, with lack of a better term, they'll kind of just, they won't. It's not like they won't try, but they'll get almost scared. Rubens Barrichello, he goes into the braking zone, and he basically goes in with the mindset of, I'm going into this corner hard, I'm going into this corner with the intention of getting around you, and I'm going to get around you.
Most certainly, we are now going to bring you now your official classified results heading from this second race in your Rubens Barrichello Challenge here from the circuit of Autodromo José Carlos Pace, Interlagos, and it is Renan Azeredo who will take the win in the end by just over 2 seconds from what is the 111 of Rubens Barrichello, up an astonishing 23 positions and showing his class. Vitor Gens will finish off on the podium ahead of Bruno D'Acamo. Jose Telmo, what a fantastic race result that was for him. He finishes off in 5th with Nato Nascimento 6th. What could have been for him? Thiago Izquiel will finish 7th with Nuzito Almeida there, if I can get his name out correctly, there in 8th. There you can see Marcel Fanchini in 9th. Jefferson Ramos will round out the top 10. And then looking back down onto your further pages, there you can see the likes of Fabio Coelho, Paulo Cesar Villas-Boas, the likes of Scott Bolsher, the likes of Sayandro, what could have been for him, who finishes a lap down. You look at Paulo Cunha, what could have been. You look at the likes of Flavio Dantas, who didn't get to finish the race. Gustavo Yanis was up there, Candemil was up there, and so was Carlos Newmar as well. A fantastic race, a fantastic finish, a fantastic opportunity. Stay right here in just one more moment's time. We're going to be back after these few messages.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
What a fantastic second race we've just seen here in the Rubens Barrichello Challenge. It has been absolutely fantastic to watch, fantastic to see. But we have Rachel Whiteford standing by with a driver who didn't have everything his own way in that second race. His name's Syandra. Rachel, take it away.
Certainly will. Thank you very much, Jake. Syandra, you finished in 21st, one lap down. Race was not going your way in the second half after a very promising run in the first race. What happened?
Well, mistakes were made, Rachel. That's the best I can say. Took a little too much wing out of the setup in hopes that the colder track would provide a little bit more grip. But I think a little too much wing was taken out and the rear was all over the place. The car wasn't really planted and ended up in the wall.
These things unfortunately happen in racing, but you definitely had a fast car that probably competed for a much better result. But great taking part, of course, in this charity event for the Barrichello Institute.
Definitely. It's racing for a good cause, and I got to race against a former F1 driver, so it's a win-win.
There you go, Hugo. You've been replaced as everyone's target driver to race against from Brazil. So, Sai, thanks for joining us, and hopefully we're going to get a chance to talk to some of the Brazilian drivers in just a few moments' time. But as one of the Americans running the race, Sai, thanks for joining us, and thanks for taking part in this Club Brazil event.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Certainly, that was a fantastic race result. Then we've seen what a fantastic final start that we had. Of course, a final end as well. And Randy, it all came down to who wanted that race win more, and it just seemed that Rubens Barrichello, well, actually the battle for second, Rubens Barrichello wanted that drive to the line more. In the end, it was under a tenth of a second that we saw it. It was very, very close, but it was one where you just thought that Barrichello just had the edge.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, Bruno De Carmo definitely had a big chance of coming away with the second place here, and I think he just needed to start being a bit more aggressive a lap or two earlier than he really was. We saw a couple times the last 3-4 laps there, he'd get a run on Rubens, and he would just kind of lift out of it, and he would just basically say, look, I don't want to be overly aggressive now, I want this draft for the final lap going into turn number 1. And unfortunately for him, Rubens got a run on Vitor, and, Rubens got to the outside, and when that happened, Bruno did kind of have an opportunity maybe through turn number 3 to really be able to get a run and be able to get by, but unfortunately for him there was some lap traffic in the way and he was really unable to be as aggressive as he really needed to. But Rubens, like you said, an absolute masterclass. Every time he made a move on someone, he made it stick, and every time he defended on someone, they didn't get by.
No, certainly not. And Rachel, I'm going to come to you on this one. You have to say Rubens Barrichello comes with an aura, mystique around him when you're in his challenge and you're looking to try and beat that driver. You're looking to try and get yourself into a position where you want to beat this guy. So you kind of try and go a little bit safe. You don't want to take the guy out. You want to be as safe as you can. And maybe that just plays in the mind of quite a few drivers when it comes to those last lap battles. And maybe that was the edge that Rubens Barrichello had on everyone else.
I don't think it was, actually, Jake. Rubens was driving in a very, very smart yet aggressive manner. He was pushing that car hard, and he was getting into a position where he was forcing the other drivers to take a certain line. That happened certainly with Gens. The run into turn 1, pushing it around the outside. I honestly don't know many people who will take it around the outside in the ZRSs that deep into a race on old tyres, so kudos to him, and I believe Jake Sperry is standing by with Rubens.
Mr. Rubens Barrichello in the flesh even. What a fantastic privilege it is to talk to you for the very first time. And well, it was certainly a fantastic race in your respect. You started 25th after what was an incident in the first race, which took you way down the order on lap 2, I believe it was. But you were fighting the positions one after another, and it just seemed to you that the old Rubens was starting to come back, the one that won F1 races.
Well, first of all, Jake, I want to thank you for the kind words. I want to thank everyone for taking part of this tremendous race. I'm so proud that we took people from all over the world to help the foundation. It is a privilege to be helping the kids from Interlagos, a place that I was born. So close to this circuit. I lived honestly 5-minute walking from the main straight. My grandma still lives in there. She's 95. She still lives in between turns 1 and 2. So to be able to join everyone from all over the world to be racing and to do what we love, and to be able to race once again in Interlagos, it's been a privilege. So I thank you guys. I thank all the iRacing crew to put together such an event for iRacing Brazil as well. And I was at the end of the race, my hands were shaking just like if I was in Formula One. So it was a really good end of this race.
Most certainly, and well, the institute, the Barrichello Institute, is so important to everyone back in Interlagos. You find yourself in a position where there are many people just who are in your situation. They're just trying to be the next big anything in this world. And it's so brilliant to see just the children's smiles as you see them day to day, just growing up, being the best they can possibly be. And it's a privilege to see children blossom in such a way, and seeing everyone just smile and grow together. And I think that's what the Barrichello Institute stands for, doesn't it, Rubens?
Exactly, Jake. It's the Barrichello Institute was created a long way back. It was obviously I didn't have money when I was racing go-karts. My father was, getting help from everyone. But I tell you quite quickly this how the institute was created. This little boy, he was my age. He was 8 or 9. At the beginning of the race weekend, he came in and said if he could watch the car on the parking lot. We went to race. My father obviously said yes. We went to race. When we came back, it was a very cold day, and my father asked me to take my jacket off and just give it to him. And I gave it to him, and we saw him a month later, and he said that his father sold the jacket to buy alcohol or drugs. We don't know what it was. But then at that moment I said, whenever I'm going to be able to help, I'm going to help. So the institute stands for that, for the kids at Interlagos, and we help also some of the old people that when they all of a sudden they stand in this life by themselves, and we try to help that as well. So I'm honored to be able to lead that project and to be able to help. I mean, that's the only thing. I've been helped so much in my whole life, so that's the only thing I can do right now.
Most certainly, and well, it's absolutely fantastic to see everyone racing today here in the Rubens Barrichello Challenge. And well, we saw how much everyone was trying to pay their dues to get themselves in, and it's certainly been a lot of money that's been raised here from this event, not just from participation standpoints and all the money coming in. Of course, you're going to see an influx of money coming in from just donations in general. You're going to see just how everyone was willing to watch this race. We had a fantastic audience watching here tonight as well. And well, something that's really important, I think, is the lasting memory that this race is going to have, and the message it's going to send to everyone else around the world, not just for the Barrichello Institute, but everyone else who's trying to push to fight to be the best they could possibly be. And I think that's the best message forward that I think that not only iRacing has, but the Barrichello Institute has, that it's global, not just as well as just being localized.
Yes, absolutely. It's like I said, I can only thank everyone for their donations and for people to take part. I mean, it's late in some part of the Europe. There was Asia involved. There's the United States, obviously Brazil. I hope that becomes a more often program for us to do and to be able to help not just my institute, but some of the others as well. I mean, we can help the whole world by raising money and still having fun like we did tonight.
Most certainly a pleasure talking to you, Mr. Barrichello. Rubens Barrichello, a second place finish then in the final race of the night. A wonderful, wonderful result from a wonderful, wonderful idea brought out today. But for the time being, I believe that is all that we have time for here tonight. A massive thank you to everyone who was involved in this one, all the drivers, all the people watching at home, from what is Randy Chenal, from what is Rachel Whiteford, from what is Hugo Luis behind the cameras. I've been Jake Sperry. This has been on iRacing Live, a RaceSpot TV production. And in the end, Barrichello showed his class once again. He showed that he could mince it with the big boys, and he showed a lesson to everybody else in that field that it's not just about the racing. Sometimes it's about the charity as well. Good night.